Hello everybody, happy today. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Today I am so excited because I'm working with my very favorite color, yellow. If you haven't already taken a guess, I've been wanting to do something with my lovely urn vase that I have here, as well as the mimosas that are in season right now. So I thought I'll come along and share the whole process with you as well. Maybe you'll get inspired and learn something from me as well. Let's get started. We don't have much time. Just let me take a little sip. Okay, so in this arrangement, I was thinking, how do I want to like arrange the whole thing? Instead of having something upright on my urn, I thought I'll just challenge myself and do something a little bit cascading and have my urn on an angle on the side of the mantle. I'm using chicken wire, so I just bunched a big pile of chicken wire into the urn because it's a big opening, as you can see on my urn. So I've already done that, as you can see, in a little bit of a cone shape. As long as it stays in there, I'm gonna go ahead and secure it with the floral tape, and then I will add another piece of chicken wire for a cascading piece, and then I'll build on it with the florals and moss and all the goodness that I have around me. I want to stick to one color as much as I can, keep it monochromatic with the yellow and just consistently going, and then add the greenery. So let's just get started and see where we end up with. Okay, I'm just gonna use the floral tape to secure my chicken wire into the vase. It doesn't need to be anything crazy, just a few pieces to secure, because when you start building the arrangement and the installation, it just kind of builds up and everything will get secured the more stuff you put into the arrangement. So this is just for the beginning of it. Okay, it's pretty secure, it's not gonna come out. And then I am gonna go ahead. I made some like I rolled up some chicken wire like this and just folded the sides of it so it's not too sharp. And because it's wire, you can kind of have them secured into each other, both ends. And I am kind of actually on one side, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap into the vase or the chicken wire of the vase and kind of secure it as much as I can. And then I will secure it with the zap straps. So just like that. Just a few to keep everything together. Okay, let's get started. Okay, I'm gonna start with my mimosa. I'm just gonna grab just the bunches to see what I have. In a perfect world, I don't want to use the greens on it, so I'm going to try to cut them as much as I can, but we'll see how they're going to be, because they're just so beautiful with the flowers. So because in this arrangement I don't have any water source, and what I want to do, letting them dry into the arrangement, and some of them have already dried up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and place them into the vase and just let them be. Some of these have already pooped into the bag. So, because I still wanna use them and I don't wanna waste them. And because it's for me, so I'm not gonna be too picky about it, I will use these stems that are not too pretty into the back of the arrangement and all the way in, because it will get covered with other things. So we'll just put them all the way in there. So I'm just starting with around, and then I'm just building on it. I'm just gonna see where the arrangement kind of goes with the movement that I want to create later. So I'm building the base right now, and then we'll go ahead and add into the arrangement coming out and coming down and whatnot. So let's just see what we end up with. Some branches like this that already have a cool shape, you want to be very mindful of where you place them and be really thinking about like how you want the angle to be. Like I love that about the nature of the flowers and how I want it to be presented into the arrangement and how the character can play into the arrangement however the shape is. So like this is already like this. I want to see how can I play with it so it stands out. I'm gonna see if I bring it out here. And don't worry about the stems coming out of your chicken wire here. We can always cut them later or cover them with other things, because as it gets fuller, it may actually get covered. So I'm just gonna see, how do I want this to be? If I put this here, maybe I'll put it in the corner so it kind of actually has its own character and the movement here. Sometimes at some point of the arrangement or the installation, I love to just step out because I'm so focused into the arrangement. I don't know what it looks like from the distance. So I always step back and look at it and see what's missing. Where do I want to add more the same flowers? Where do I want to put some other things in it? So I'm just going to step back a little bit to just see, first of all, how it's coming along, where are some empty spots into the arrangement that I want to cover, and how is it coming along as a whole into the mantle piece. Making sure both the size and just the shape matches what I'm trying to achieve, but also aligned with the whole look as a whole. So obviously I see some empty spots there. I'm not gonna worry too much about it right now because I'm gonna just add the same flower into the arrangement all the way down, and then I'm gonna go back in and fill it with other things that I have. And technically, because this arrangement is sort of like three-sided and the back is a little bit towards the wall, I'm not gonna worry too much about it unless I wanna put something really big in the back to stand out, which we may do that in a bit, like a big leaf or something. So let's just kind of finish this up and then we'll get to those items. Okay, yeah, obviously working with dried or fresh semi-dried flowers is that you always get messy, but that's part of the job and I love it. I finished with my mimosa. I put them as much as I could into the little cascading piece on the mantle. It's looking pretty good so far. Again, keeping a monochrome arrangement, it's always super exciting and super attractive. So I have a little bit more yellow into other items like pampas grasses and maybe some grass and whatnot that I'm gonna be using. So I'm just gonna go play and see what fits this arrangement, because I definitely wanna bring some height into the arrangement, considering it's a really big vase. I wanna make sure it's kind of like grand and a really sort of like wow factor on the mantle. So I'll add some of these grasses, they already have some movement on them, which is really fun, which I think it will be really, you know, cool into the arrangement because they already have a whole bunch of movement with the curve. So we're just playing off the same movement that the stems have in a different material. I want to bring some longer or taller pieces on the top just to give it some height. There you go. And you may have to tweak things around a little bit to get the shape or the angle you want the flower to be, and that is no problem. That's part of the design, to keep playing and twisting and turning to make sure you get the movement that you want. So far it looks good to me. I have to step back and see what else I want to do. I love this. I think I'm gonna bring some long one in the bottom just to extend the height of the arrangement. So as you can see, there's so much movement happening, and that's something very important into arrangements and building something from scratch. You want the flowers to both have that natural movement as they have, but also if you are able to play with the curves and the texture and the character that they have and kind of like placing them very intentionally in a way. In my world, I always say like as if they're like talking to each other. It just makes the arrangement a lot more fun and purposeful, and it speaks through a lot more to the viewer or the client. So definitely think about how you're placing this. So this, I just love as if these two are talking to each other, or these two are kind of like this one's trying to get the attention and whatnot. So there's just like a little story I build in my head as I'm placing them into the arrangement. So I'm done with this pampas grass. I went and found some amazing large pieces of greens that are just perfect, I think, for this arrangement, just to keep extending the height as well as having the similar movement, but in a different texture. Super sharp, super rough, but pretty amazing. So I'm just gonna, I only wanna put about maybe 2 or 3 of them, but I wanna see the shape first and see which one I wanna place into the arrangement and where. I'm gonna put the first one first just to see how it's gonna look, because these are super large. We wanna make sure we, again, putting them intentionally and properly. And let's see how it's gonna look. I have to cut it, okay. Okay, so we need to cut this a little bit shorter because it's super tall. It's just not gonna work with this arrangement. So let's see. Okay, it's looking good. Let's put the other ones. They're probably gonna keep moving, and I probably have to keep fixing them to make sure they're as secure as possible. And again, as I put more flowers into it, the other things that I already have in there will get more secured. So don't be afraid to move things around, or when they move, it's okay. You can always fix them back to the shape and angle that you want them to be. Okay, I'm gonna cut this a bit shorter as well. Okay, so I want them to be kind of like talking to each other and sort of like, I don't know, maybe a shape of a heart of some sort, because they're just kind of facing each other. So I'm gonna go see actually to see if I should put them somewhere here So I may cut it a bit shorter. All right. I love this kind of a shape into an arrangement when two big grand things are kind of like facing each other with their curve and character, and they're talking to each other. It's just something incredible about this kind of a shape into any arrangement. I can leave it as that, but I feel like I may need a third piece, probably somewhere here, to come all the way out to balance this bigness and sort of like the shape and texture of these leaves. So we have this one, which is pretty much have its own curve that it's coming out. I don't want it to be this tall and big, probably just somewhere here, just to balance all of this together. So I'm gonna cut it a bit shorter. Over time, I've been trying a whole bunch of like different flowers and grasses and leaves that I've been buying. So these lovely bare grasses, I've been drying them for a while. So I think it will just be a really fun add-on into the arrangement, just to, again, keep more movement, but a little bit more extension into the arrangement. So I just brought a couple bunches. I may bring a couple more, but let's try. I can see this being here a little bit to just, you know, have this lovely flare in the corner, and maybe some into the here, or going this way and whatnot, all the way down and up. So let's just add one bunch and see how it turns out. And I also want to make sure I cover my tape down there. I'm already loving this movement, all these beautiful branches talking to each other, just in different curves and texture and shapes and forms. It's just a nice balance of the harsh and the soft, and the beautiful flowers and greeneries that there are. So I think I'm just gonna go and add this last bunch to the bottom, just to extend the arrangement all the way down a little bit. I think it just will be a really cool addition, and we'll just finish the arrangement as is. Okay. Okay, I promise this is the last part of it. I just noticed when I was down there, some of my mechanic, the chicken wire is showing. So just to make sure we're not, you know, showing as much of our not so pretty stuff, the wire, I just grabbed a sheet of moss, which is perfect to add to any of your arrangements or installations to cover. And I'm just gonna put on the bottom of that, just so it doesn't show, and we'll just wrap it up, okay? Alrighty, well, here it is. Lots of beautiful flowers, beautiful texture, beautiful movement. These are some of the honestly really main important items in designing any florals, to make something a little bit special and different than the usual, you know, compact things that we see in the world. So don't be afraid, go ahead and be crazy, add that extension of the movement. It will take your arrangement to the next step. Thank you so much for watching again. I am humbled and I am honored. Subscribe if you haven't already, like, comment, let me know if you have any questions. I am happy to answer anything that it may come your way, and I am happy to support. Lots of love, and see you next time. Mwah.